There we go. Okay. Hello. My name is Jen, and I'm just starting up this YouTube channel here. I have a couple short videos, mostly of my youngest, but there'll be more to come. So I wanted to share this with the homeschool playlist of why we homeschool. So I did make a comment that one of the big reasons we homeschool is because of safety. I have 3 children. 2 of them are special needs. So my oldest has autism, and we've had too many issues with the public school system for me to really keep him in there. So it's been very challenging. And recently, well, not really recently, but before, the pandemic went down, there's one. Before the pandemic went down, when he was in 3rd grade, they actually kind of lost him. I don't know how to explain it. So we live in a walking neighborhood, and he's considered a walker. And I went to go pick him up, and somebody just basically let him outside, and he was outside of the building, and the teachers didn't know that he was already outside. And of course, I thought he was inside in class, so I was very, very upset about that, and, had to do some emails to the teachers and the counselors, and I'm like, he needs to be supervised. So that was one of the big things. Now, my youngest, he has Down syndrome. And when he first started preschool, which I was very apprehensive about because of the experience with my older son with the public school system, when he first started preschool, I was very nervous. And thankfully, thank God, we had an amazing, amazing preschool teacher, actually, that I knew when I was still pregnant with him. So he ended up in her class, which was a godsend. She was just amazing. And then we had to move. We moved and came to a different state. And then when I asked in his IEP meeting, which is individual education plan meeting, for the same things that he had before we moved in the other state, they kept saying, "We don't do that, we don't do that." And I was very upset. And I tried it anyway. I tried it for a couple months because it was in April, so they only had 2 months left. And then we started again the next year, and he would be in preschool the last preschool year before kindergarten. So it was still half a day, and we had the IEP meeting, and I was asking for certain things, and they still kept saying, "We don't do that, we don't do that." And one of my main concerns was obviously feeding. He can feed himself, but he puts a lot in his mouth, and he's prone to choking. So my concern is lunchtime, because he has to be supervised. And they just weren't really doing that with snack. And I wanted to put it in the IEP, and they kept saying, "Well, we don't do that. We'll try maybe, for snack time." And well, it never got done. So he basically didn't have that time, to kind of practice eating. So a couple months later, well, about a month later, they had like a moms in math program or something like that. Now, he was in like a mixed classroom, so there was typical kids and special needs kids. Unfortunately, there was probably about only 2 special needs kids, and he was lower functioning. And so I went to this moms in math class, and I sat there with, observing with a teacher and 2 aides, and he basically was kind of left in the corner by himself. Thank you. And I just cried. I was just so sad because I was like, my kid. I guess she didn't know that story. My kid, isn't learning anything, and they were doing like numbers, counting to 5. It's preschool, and nobody was working with him. He was basically in the corner by himself while they worked with the higher functioning children, which was very upsetting. So I pulled him out of school the next week. I was like, that's it. This is the final straw. I can't take this anymore. So he got pulled out. So at 4 years old, we started homeschooling him. And within not even a month, he went from not being able to count at all to being able to count to 20. So I've just stuck with it. I work with him. I give him a lot of free time, a lot of play time, because obviously he's little. So the older kids have more responsibilities, but we still work on stuff, and we've been working on like handwriting and stuff. Actually, hold on. Say hi. You want to say hi?
Hi.
Oh, jeez. So, yeah, that's where we've been, and of course I have my daughter in the middle, so she's just along for the ride. But he's saying bye. That's why we homeschool. It's a safety issue for me. So there you have it.